talking music, building businesses, and the grit and the journey. We're Skrizz and Adam, and welcome to The Rise.
And we are back. It is Skrizz and Adam with The Rise. I am very, very happy to be here on this lovely Valentine's Day. Adam, happy Valentine's Day. Glad to be here with you. How are you? Where are you? Talk to me.
I'm good. No one else I'd rather spend Valentine's Day with than you. And I'm in Oahu right now. So I'm in Oahu for another 2 weeks or so. So come March, I'll be gone from the sunshine, the beaches, but that's okay.
Cool. I love it. I think you're in a much more romantic place than I am in sunny North Jersey. But it's good to be here. As you know, it is Valentine's Day, which is in February. And to kick it off, I think with this kind of new season and new year, we just kind of want to talk about where we're at. I know a lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, thank you for listening, by the way, The Rise all the way, are fans of my music. So I kind of wanted to do a recap of like what's going on in Skrizz Adam's world, as well as what's going on in Daniel Zavaro world as well. Adam, ask me a question. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so the whole thing came up when we were talking about what topics should we bring up on the podcast, get a new season going, trying to figure out what's next. And me and you, we haven't really been able to communicate as much as we normally would. So even for me, I don't totally know what's going on in your world, but I see you putting out music. I see you have big visions for this year. And I'm curious to know what's going on from a music standpoint, hiring standpoint. You're in a new studio, a new house, and then just in your life in general. What are you focused on? What tours you have coming up, all that stuff. So let's start music-wise, though. Obviously, a lot of the people that are listening are big fans of yours. And even me being a fan of yours, I'm curious. So what should we expect as Skrizz Adams fans in terms of new music coming out this year?
Totally. So I'm very happy to say this is an exciting time. I can't make any promises, but I want to be a man of my word and say that this will be the most volume of music, most quantity and quality by a landslide. I do on the calendar have 2 albums coming out. One is my 3rd album, which I think very much in classic rock history, your 3rd album is your biggest album. So I'm really hoping this, I'm betting pretty hard on it. So that's coming out. The 5th single for it, Disarm You, is coming out March 10th, announcing that now. I think it's top 3, top 5 Skrizz tunes. So check that out. And then we are dropping the mixtape just a few months after that, which is we have Whole Heart, Foresight, a lot of stuff with me on acoustic guitar. The artwork is always like a Polaroid picture, kind of a reflection of the side that, you met me, just being able to show up at a bar and play an acoustic guitar set for 3 hours. I kind of wanted to make a project that reflects that. And then the album's like the big stadium rock kind of thing. But I'm really excited about both of it. I've spent a ton of time working on it, but I profoundly believe in it. And you'll be getting singles from either project pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks. So I couldn't be more excited about it. And I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, because I think it's pretty good.
So what how many songs do you expect to come out with this year, and how many of those songs are already done, ready to go in the back burner versus what do you need to finish?
That's great. And that'll actually segue to the next question. So 20 minimum songs. I think it's like 20 to 26 songs I want to put out this year. If you know anything about me, I'm constantly changing the track list. So I'm like up down to the absolute cutoff is when I like Kanye West, like down to the very, very cutoff is when I finally sign off on the record or what the order of the songs is or whatever that is. So I do drive people nuts that way. So we got to get 20 done, 20 minimum done. 10 songs are fully recorded, packaged up, Pro Tools file in a zip folder. Just got to send them off to Brent, who finishes the production and mixing. Shout out Brent Colatola, crushing album 3. He's the co-producer of album 3. He's doing like a really, 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 really good job. It's like, I think the relationship between me and him, which we've been working on for like 8 to 10 years, I think that just something happened where 1 and 1 became 10 with our work relationship. So he's really doing this thing.
Can we get Brent on the podcast?
Yeah, we should definitely get him next. Yeah, Brent, you are on next. He will. He's good. But so that's all done. But and other stuff is very close to being done. But it's like as always, the devil's in the details. I mean, I have this song I'm working on right now off the mixtape, and it's one of the singles off the mixtape, and I re-recorded the first verse like 4 times, and then I listened to it today. I'm like, well, It's not even close. You know what I mean? And it's funny. It's like, you can see me at a show and sing. It's like, oh, this guy's a great singer, but it's like the devil really is in the details. I mean, and that's, what separates hundreds of millions of people wanting to listen to the song, and then it's being like, oh, it's okay. Yeah,
it's everything. Like we just watched the Super Bowl this past weekend, and there's a lot of players with a lot of talent. But the difference between being a great Division I player versus making it to the NFL versus playing in the NFL versus being a starter in the NFL versus being a superstar. Exactly. So much of it is the small details, like a Tom Brady, who obviously just retired again. The big thing with him was knowing the details better than anybody else and practicing on those details and perfecting those details. So it doesn't matter if it's music, business, being a teacher, sports, whatever. The devil is in the details.
It really is. And I think that's kind of, I think the part that deters people from getting into the, getting knee deep in the dirt of details is the disproportionateness of the effort that goes into it. It's like the hours, everything's a proportion at the end of the day. So it's like 100 hours goes into 95%, but another 100 hours goes into the 5%. So it's like, do you really want to put 100 hours into 5%? Most people don't. But then again, those that do, the Tom Brady's of the world, the Kobe's, the LeBron's. So yeah, I mean, so I'll segue to the next thing. The big thing in, my personal life, which obviously will reflect my my professional life deeply. And it's very inspired by you, Adam. This is the first time you're hearing it. I have not told anyone this, but I am leaving my house. I am ending my lease, and I am going nomadic.
Wow.
Definitely. Whoa. Adam Rosen style.
This is big.
I am buying the cargo trailer tomorrow. I got the hitch put on my truck today. I sold my van. I bought a storage unit. And I have places I'm staying for months at a time. But I've kind of committed to just like I can make records on the go. And I have a staff of people I work with to make records. And we have 5 weeks to get everything done. And then from that, just new music. So it's a really exciting time personally and creatively as well. I mean, obviously a lot of pressure. Like I said, like getting the right recording of the verse is hard, but yeah, it's an exciting time.
We're not messing with the audience when we say I had no idea that was on. We've never talked about that once. So I'm finding out right now live. So the interesting thing I think it's going to do for you, because I've seen it for myself. Like I've been bopping around now since November of 21.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always inspiring to go to new places, experience new cultures, meet different types of people. Like for me, that's very inspiring and very inspiring from a creative standpoint. Totally. You being a musician, artist, you're a writer. I feel like that's going to be such a huge benefit because look, for any of us, when we get stuck in the monotony of life, it's like you just go through the same stuff day in and day out, and it can be a deterrent from us being creative. So for you, you're going to be experiencing new shit constantly. So I got to imagine we're all going to benefit from a music standpoint because of that.
In theory, from my experience with traveling and staying home, back to proportions here, my amount of writing songs on the road versus writing songs at home it's a seesaw that's totally off kilter. You know what I mean? Like when I'm traveling, there's just, and this applies to any business. And I think it's so deeply rooted in songwriting it's very like a Nashville mentality where someone says something, you're like, oh, that's the song, or like, that's the thing. And there's just something about being around like kinetic new energy you definitely deal with that on a regular basis. Kinetic new energy and being on the responsive side of it all the time that you're like, that's it. That's the idea. That's the emotion. I mean, I love where I'm at and I love North Jersey, but even now, like I have to find ways to inspire myself. And I'm so grateful for the job I do have, but it does feel like work, and it is work. You know what I mean? But you want to find ways to inject, I want to say chaos. Chaos is probably the wrong word, but like chaos is what it is,
Exactly. No, it is that. And it's like, you want your work to inspire you, and you want to find ways to inspire the work that you're doing and to bring more out of your work. And that's where I think being on the road is going to be helpful for that, because you're constantly going to have new experiences. You're going to have shit thrown at you that could easily throw you off, but because you're trained for that, you'll be able to take that and be better because of it. So tell me more, where are you planning on going? What's the focus?
I'm not saying anything. I'll say that much. I'm not saying anything, but I'm going all over. I mean, also, well, I want to focus more for what applies to the actual fans. Also, I don't want anyone stalking me. But like I am going on tour. You know what I mean? So I just announced yesterday, actually, Skrizz and Adam's debut world tour. We got a bunch more dates coming, but we're crushing. Texas to Colorado to the Midwest, good old Middle America, which always a good time. I will not be doing either coasts. I love you guys, but I will not be doing either coasts on this tour. I will be doing all of Canada. Stay tuned for dates. And I will be doing UK and maybe some other Europe. No Australia or South Africa or anything like that, or South America. But so I will be doing that. I will be, I don't want to say where I'm at, but I think fans will eventually figure out where I'll be. It's funny, I'll say this, because I don't even know. Like, I have so many other things I'm working on. Like, I avoid Los Angeles like the plague. Like, I'll just say, because I'd rather be real with you guys. Now, I have a lot of friends in Los Angeles and fans in Los Angeles, and I hate it. I just fucking hate Los Angeles. It doesn't mean I hate you. I mean, when I play there, I'll be signing everything and super grateful to be there. But I'm like, you know what? Let's go to Los Angeles for like a month. You know what I mean? I'm starting to do a couple things in film, which I haven't really talked about. And I'm like, I want to immerse myself in that more. Like, I want to be in a situation I'm more uncomfortable with, to be totally honest, So that's on to do. And a lot of desolate, away from everybody type of situations,
I won't ask where you're going,
Sure.
But I will tell you I'll be in Austin for 2 weeks in March. So if you're going to be anywhere in Texas, we got to find a way to link up there. But I do want to know.
I'll be in Texas and I'll be in Texas for a week in April. 420 weekend, actually. If you're
That's
around.
my birthday. Yeah, that's my birthday, 420.
Come to Texas. Let's do it. I'll throw you a birthday party. Let's do a dive bar thing. It's not about making money. Just have a good time.
As much as I would love to do that, I'm once April hits, I'm going to Europe. So I'll be in Europe for a little while. The plan is a mixture of Italy, France, and I'll probably go to Montenegro for a bit and maybe find a few other spots to go to. Nice. But I want to spend the summer on the Italian coast.
You're doing it right. So that's the one thing with the studio and all that stuff. Like, I gotta stay. My truck has to be able to get there. I can't be shipping a cargo.
It's very tougher.
Can't afford.
Just get a boat. Get the Skrizz boat. Just get the yacht.
Once the rise takes off, we will both buy power yachts. And
I like it. We'll park them in Monaco.
But yeah, I mean, we can talk about this forever. But at the end of the day, if I were to break down what is going on in my life, there are other things too, which maybe we'll talk about another thing. Is a lot of music, and it kind of goes back to the sports analogy. I was just on the phone with my mom yesterday, and I originally was in short, I have 4 different deal situations to enter the free market this year. So it could be a really big payoff if I choose to capitalize on it. You know what I mean? And a part of me was okay, let's live cheaply, nomadically, and then capitalize on this thing. And then, I wanted to buy a bunch of land and build off that land. And then I kind of had a revelation yesterday. And again, I change my mind all the time. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it's a part of me is and this is true, and it goes with sports as well. It's I really only have at absolute best 12 years left in me as a songwriter who can deliver great music commercially as an artist. At my best, 12 years, which I know seems like a long time, but it's not a lot. So I'm I need to get 30 songs out a year to my fans, and that should be my number one priority. And it kind of hit me, and it was I'm not going to be 90 years old on my deathbed being I'm not going to be 90 years old on my deathbed saying man, I really wish at 31 I bought that big house with the farm. I'm not going to regret that. There's so much life left to live and time to buy the big farm. You know what I mean? But but I will regret man, you really should have bet on that third album a little harder and invested in yourself a little more. You know what I mean? There are other friends I've talked to and other things, and it's I know people the Amazon model, Jeff Bezos. That man scaled up, breaking even every single year until he was making $1 billion a day. And that was kind of what came to me. It's you're doing great, but why not just keep scaling? I have just a lot of examples of that. Scale until you can scale to the point where you have enough cash to buy the farm in cash in a week. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, this is where I'm at. And I think nomadic applies to that business mindset, if that makes sense.
Well, I think some people, when they hear a nomadic, they think you're living out of a van, hanging out all day, just trying to find yourself, doing nothing. That is not exactly. And there's different ways to be a nomad. The way that I'm a nomad, the way that you're going to be a nomad it's to help our work, to help be more productive in our work and to get more out of our work and to inspire our work. And like, for me, a big thing that I talk about, and seems like you're on the same path, is now is the time to be and stay aggressive.
Yes.
You know, for me and my business, it's like, hey, things are working. Let's get more aggressive, be more aggressive, be more aggressive. For you, same thing. You know, you have 12 years, you say, yet left of doing what you're doing. So let's get aggressive. Let's put out more music. Let's be more aggressive with advertising and marketing our music. Let's be more aggressive with trying to get to our listeners. Let's be more aggressive with everything that we're doing. Not, hey, let's pull back, but let's do more.
I'm so glad you said that. That is like exactly it. Being nomadic is optimizing inspiration, minimizing like actual things that make you lazy or distracted or anchored down. And then it's just like financially a leaner, simpler operation. Like, I know I've been chatting a lot with my parents, and it's like the details of the cargo trailer and what fits in the cargo trailer and how I'm able to absolutely minimize my life for simplification, and the ability to do whatever I want to do and get the job done is essential. Like, how I execute these next 2 months are so pivotal to my next rest of my life, maybe, you know? So yeah, there's no laziness to it. It's working smart, you know? That's kind of the name.
It's kind of it's Valentine's Day, so I'm using an example of trying to pick up a woman. If you meet a woman out, you're at a coffee shop, you're sitting down, you see a cute girl, you want to go say hello to her. Like, the second you walk up and you say hello, like, you're in. You've already dove into the deep end. It's like, let's make the most out of this. Let's try to bring our swagger, our confidence, ourselves, and let's try to make the most of it. We're already in. We've already embarrassed ourselves. Like, there's no going back at this point. And it's what you're saying. Like, you've already gone in. It's like, at this point, you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. And right now, you're going to be forced to be more efficient. You're going to be forced to be more creative. You're going to be forced to deal with uncertainty more. You're going to be forced to do quality work without your comfortable surrounding that you've had for the past X amount of years. So it's kind of like that sink or swim thing, where you either go all in and it works, or you go all in and it doesn't work. But either way, you don't have a choice. There's no going back. You already burned the boats.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, that triggers so many other thoughts in my mind, but I think the ultimate thing it comes down to is, like, when you put yourself in these chaotic situations, like, the ceiling for growth is limitless. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, if you really are betting on yourself, it's like, well, then jump in the water, you know? And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Well, you probably, it sounds like we were similar in this. When I had my first tech startup, the first 5 years, really minus the first year, but I thought you had to be in the office. For me, it was 7 days a week. It was just constant early mornings, late nights in the office, Monday through Sunday. And I thought that was the way you had to be successful. And then as I've started to live this other life, I realized, hey, there's different ways to get the best out of yourself, to be successful, be happy, to grow, all that. And I feel like for you, it's pretty similar, where, for the past X amount of years, you've had your comfortable environment, you've had your studio you go to, you would do your tours, of course, but for the most part, you had your stability in the home base. And now you're kind of stepping out of that and saying, all right, I don't know you have no idea what the hell is going to come out of this nomadic lifestyle. Who the hell knows what it's going to lead to? It might turn into a TV show, Skrizz on the road. Like, who the hell knows? But you're taking that first step. And once you take that first step, the dots tend to connect themselves.
Totally. And I think just for the specifics of any fans that might care, I think the big thing is it took a dozen plus years of learning how to make records with the resources of people I have in person, like the Kens and the Brents and all these people, and the confidence of having it all anchored in person. Now it's like I'll be at an Airbnb in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, there are a million variables that go to why that's different.
Yeah, but what you're saying is huge, because what you're saying is you built the muscle to do this. Yes. You didn't step into the gym for the first time, putting up 225, 20 reps.
That's exactly
you had to first build the muscle. That's like, for me, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing today when I was 22, coming out of college, starting my first business. I needed to build the muscle of discipline, of, the highs and the lows of building a business, everything that goes into that, to prepare me to do what I do today. And the same exact thing for you. You needed to build that muscle over the past, decade and a half to be ready to execute on this new lifestyle that you're about to be living.
That applies on so many levels, even to like the business infrastructure that allowed me to be nomadic. Like there's the discipline of the creative part, the work part, the actual financial everything brought me to this moment. And I realized like, it's time to leave. You know what I mean? And that was it.
So kind of the two big things for you right now that different from a music Skrizz Daniel standpoint is you're going to put out 20 plus songs this year. Sounds like you might, get 30 or more.
I would love that.
So one, putting out a ton of music. So that's number one. Number two, you're ditching the house. You're going to be on the road. Any time frame? What are you thinking? Like 3 months, year, indefinitely?
I'm out March 28th. I got a studio date already set up in Indiana, and then I'm gone.
No, you just got.
Yeah, no, I'm gone. I mean, I've got my first destination already set up. But then like, then 15 days later, I'm going to be in Texas, like on tour for 6 weeks. And
so you're just going to be living out of your van for 2 weeks, or just Airbnb?
No, all of my stuff's kind of set up at a certain residence.
So that sounds good. So one, putting out a bunch of music. Two, you'll be bopping all around the country, putting out music, touring. Anything else before we call it a day?
There are other things we'll talk about in other episodes, but I think it's just a big time for betting on myself. And that's kind of the message I want to preach to everyone. Just really bet on yourself, optimize on yourself, be proud of how you got here, and realize how much farther you can take it. You know what I mean? It's like the feeling of being full and hungry at the same time. And that's kind of where I'm at. So cool. That was that. And Adam, happy Valentine's Day. It's been good. And this is The Rise with Skrizz and Adam.
All right. I'll see you. Enjoy your Valentine's Day.
You too, boss.